For adults with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms, every choice matters. Tremfya offers self-injection or intravenous infusion from the start. Tremfya is administered as injections under the skin or infusions through a vein every 4 weeks, followed by injections under the skin every 4 or 8 weeks. If your doctor decides that you can self-inject Tremfya, proper training is required. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions, increased risk of infections or lower ability to fight them, and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or need a vaccine. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
This episode is brought to you by SoFi, the all-in-one finance app to bank, borrow, and invest. Say goodbye to account fees and give your bank balance a glow-up with a SoFi high-yield savings account. Get over 8 times the national average savings rate and an epic welcome bonus when you sign up with eligible direct deposit. Sign up at SoFi.com/SXM. SoFi checking and savings offer through SoFi Bank N.A. member FDIC. Terms apply.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat, emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month. Even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending. 0 tears. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Hey weirdos, I'm Ash.
And I'm Alaina.
And this is Morbid.
With allergies.
Seasonal allergies are a little bitch.
Guys, I've never got seasonal allergies, and the first time I get them is during a global pandemic. That's
it's not fun.
Not awesome. Not awesome.
You're getting them a lot worse than me, mostly because I really don't get allergies at all.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
See, I started getting allergies when I had the twins, but they weren't that bad. And then I just realized I like went on Twitter and looked around and everybody's complaining about the tree pollen. So I was like, okay, cool. That's what it is. Because it's just I'm like all filled up.
Yeah, your face is like a faucet.
So I apologize if I sound sick. I do not have COVID. I am, I'm okay. I'm vaccinated. I haven't gone anywhere. So
oh my God, I'm finally getting my vaccination tomorrow.
Yay!
I'm so excited.
We will all be vaccinated.
Vaccination station.
Oh, I know. I feel bad because I took it for granted that like as a healthcare worker, I was able to get it like right away. And it was just kind of like done for me. They were like, hey, go sign up on this. Like, you need to get it. Watching everybody else go through all this, I'm like, ooh, I'm sorry.
And I'm only getting it now because I'm like overweight. LOL. Seriously.
I mean, it's good that you're getting it, man.
Yeah.
Any way you can get it.
Let's get it.
Let's get it. So hopefully you're all getting it too. I hope everybody can be vaccinated soon.
I hope so too. I
feel for you. I don't take it for granted that I was able to get it so easily.
Yeah, same.
So, yeah. That's the tea so far. I just wanted to tell you so you weren't like, why do you sound like that?
I really don't think you sound that bad.
Yeah, just in case I sound filled up. I know that can be annoying when listening to a podcast.
I think you sound like Lisa Kudrow.
I've gotten that so many times since starting this podcast. Never in my life.
No, I actually don't think that
before
you do.
starting this podcast, did I ever, and I mean this, never once did I hear you sound like Lisa Kudrow. The second I started this podcast, I have got it hundreds of times.
I know. I've seen it.
It's a crazy phenomenon. And
I just like to say it to you.
Because I don't get it. Like, I believe you guys. I believe that you hear that in my voice. But when I listen to Lisa Kudrow, I'm like, I don't sound like that.
Yeah, no, I don't hear it, to be honest with you.
But I don't know. You guys have really opened my eyes with this. I don't know. You've disturbed me a little because I can't hear it. But
yeah, I can't hear it at all. I actually watched a movie with her in it the other day, and I was like, no, that's not you.
It's a weird. It's like it's a weird phenomenon. But I don't know how we got there, but we got there.
Here we are.
So we are in part 2 of The Impossible Murder. Of Julia Wallace back in 1931. And I said this was going to be 2 parts. It's actually going to be 3.
Yes,
So, because
I love when you do that.
I can't stop, won't stop. I just keep finding stuff. And I was like, I can't make part 2 like 18 hours. So
can't stop, won't stop, rocking to the impossible.
There's just too many little things I just need to go into. So this is going to be a 3-parter, but part 3 is going to come out within like the next day or 2. So you won't have to wait long for it or anything. Don't worry. Sorry that you had to wait a few extra days for this one. But I hope you were like on the edge of your seat, and spoiler alert, there's really no conclusion. So you're not really waiting for like an answer. So
wow. And spoiler alert, nothing is solved.
Well, that's why it's called The Impossible Murder Mystery. So
impossible.
It's going to be a mystery at the end of this, but I'm going to say what I think happened.
For me, it just reminds me of like an impossible breakfast sandwich. I don't know what that says about me, but
I thought you meant the case did, and I was like, all right.
No, just like
explain yourself.
Like how it's named that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not yeah.
The murder doesn't sound like a plant-based meat alternative.
Sure doesn't.
It doesn't. But here we are. So when I left you in part 1, we talked about the murder of Julia Wallace, super brutal. We talked about her husband, William Wallace, not Braveheart. And we talked about he was, a chess player. And the two of them were kind of sickly together. And they kind of did a tit for tat with getting sick and who could get more sick. It was wonderful. They loved each other. Yeah. That's all that matters. And when we left, it was clear that the police were already, you're going to eye the husband first.
Yeah, always.
The spouse, always. And so they're already looking at William and being like, what's this about? And that whole, when he returned home from that wild goose chase where that address didn't exist, he comes back home and he can't get in the house. His key isn't working. He's telling the story later. He's saying that at one point he got to the front door. It wasn't bolted, but he still couldn't open it with the key. Went to the back. That wasn't bolted. Couldn't get in. Went back to the front. Suddenly it's bolted now.
Right.
It's just a lot of strange things going on.
Right.
So, of course, the police are looking at him being like, what's going on?
I mean, Annie was sitting there petting a cat. What's wrong with him?
Exactly. He's trying to comfort their cat. Weird.
So weird.
Yeah. So one of the things that was, leading them to be like, scratch their chins a little bit was the fact that a little bit of money was missing out of the cash box in the kitchen. And it was like forcibly taken out. Like the doors were ripped off and it was clearly, but then there was more money upstairs that wasn't touched and it was out in the open. And none of the handbags were taken or rifled through. Just strange.
It was weird.
So he got brought in at the end of the last one and, they did their interrogation with him and they asked him, would Julia let somebody in that she didn't know? And he was like, absolutely not. And people confirm this. No way. She was not like super social with like people she didn't know.
And you had said that she was pretty shy anyways.
She was shy. But then he said, you know what? There is somebody who could have gained entry into my house and knows my house. And they were like, who? Well, this guy called Richard Gordon Perry. And we talked about him in part 1. Basically, just to give you a quick little overview, because we are going to talk about him a little more in this one. He worked with William at the insurance company that he worked for. He was found to be kind of skimming money off the top, stealing money from the company, and kind of out of Wallace's pocket at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so Wallace confronted him, and when he kept doing it, he told the boss. The boss fired Richard Gordon Perry.
So essentially, Wallace got this dude fired.
Exactly. Now, this dude had covered for him when he was sick, because Wallace had a lot of kidney issues, was sick a lot. So this guy had covered his insurance route for him. So he had been in his house. He had been in that cash box to put the insurance payments in there. So this is looking like he knows a lot about this stuff. So people were thinking this could have been revenge. He got him fired. He's pissed. I'll kill your wife. I'll take the money.
It's a really
seems pretty like
really escalated quickly
from
being fired to I'll kill your wife, but
it definitely does. Now what was weird was that, Perry was brought in for questioning, of course, and they're going to look at it, and he immediately offered an alibi for the night before the murders when that strange call to the chess club happened. And also for the night of the murders.
It's like, why would you need to give one for the night before?
Well, and he offered it up without prompting.
Right.
So
how did you know anything happened the night before?
The police didn't care, didn't bother them that much because they went into this like zeroing in on Wallace and that was it. They were going to pin this on William Wallace. But yeah, just wanted to bring you up to speed on that because we are going to bring Richard Gordon Perry back into this. So this obviously becomes a case of them deciding who did it before the evidence decides who did it. They went in there and were like, William Wallace did it. The evidence is like, maybe not, though. And they're like, shut up, evidence. You don't know anything. So the police and the ME, who we talked about, the ME, the bumbling opium-smoking ME.
Yes. How could I forget?
He also was like, this is the guy. He was working right alongside them.
He also like walked in, sniffed the air, and was like, yep, she's been dead for 4 hours and 2 minutes.
Yeah, he touched her and said, oh, rigor. Okay, it's been 4 hours. Rigor is like the least like reliable thing to, especially considering
the least reliable thing to rely on.
I know, that's why I stopped. I was like, don't use that word again. But yeah, I mean, considering the temperature changes in the room, her age, her temperature of her body, there's so much. I went over it in part 1. It doesn't make any sense. But, you know, that's what he's going on. Now, if we also talked about in part 1 that right before the ME left at like 11 p.m. that night, he happened to go upstairs to use the bathroom upstairs. And there, suddenly, he notices that there's a little clot of blood on the toilet seat.
Right.
And he's like, whoa, weird, considering like 100 different people have gone through this thing this entire night.
Again,
and never saw
impossible.
this. Yeah, never saw it. And so they were like, he was like, I know that this is from the killer. The killer came up here and washed his hands after he did this. Meanwhile, he would have been covered with blood, this killer. There is not one speck of blood anywhere else in this house. So he traipsed upstairs, managed not to get even a drip of blood on anything else, and then washed his hands and was like, whoops, a clot onto the bathroom.
Yeah,
like, what?
It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. Well, they did want to test this blood, obviously, because they've got to. It was found there. Whether it was placed there by the ME, whether it was transferred accidentally by one of the other investigators, they still got to try. So they did a test at the lab to make sure it was human blood and not either, I mean, it could be animal blood, who knows, or it could have been menstrual blood.
Right.
Which would make it a very different scenario.
Right.
Over time, moss, mold, and mildew stains cover your home, and cleaning them is too much work. You need Wet and Forget, the easy bleach-free way to clean tough outdoor stains. For decks, patios, and cushions, use Wet and Forget outdoor spaces. No scrubbing, no rinsing. Just apply and let it do the work for you over time. Got a bigger job? Reach second-story siding and roofs with Outdoor Max. Up to a 30-foot reach and 2 times the coverage. Get Wet and Forget at Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
So they do the test. What they performed was a test called the precipitin test. And it basically is to make sure that blood is human and not animal. This blood came back as definitely human. Now, the way that the precipitin test works, because it's kind of interesting, I just thought I'd throw it in here, is that they use an animal, usually a rabbit, 9 times out of 10. They inject this animal with human blood. Mm-hmm. Now, the animal's blood is going to form antibodies to attack that foreign substance, which is, and the antibodies are then taken from the rabbit's bloodstream, from its blood serum, and it becomes anti-serum, is what they call it. They put this in a test tube. Then they take this blood that they're trying to figure out whether it's human or whatever from the scene, and they're going to put that into the anti-serum in the test tube. And when they go together in the test tube, if a precipitate forms, which is like a solid substance, you'll see it, then it has to happen when the two meet, like in the line where the two blood, like the blood serum, the anti-serum, and the questionable blood meet.
Okay.
That's where the precipitate will form, and if that happens, then it's human blood.
Okay.
So it's really interesting, really intricate.
Yeah.
Has to be done right.
An experiment.
It needs to be done right. So he did this, the ME, Professor McFall, and he said, yep, it formed the precipitate, it's human blood. But what's interesting about this is a few months after this, he was doing some other case totally unrelated to this, and he made a worker at the medical facility in the University of Liverpool actually do the precipitin test because he said, and I quote, "I could never get the hang of it." So what the fuck?
And also, like, what do you mean you can't get the hang of it? Like
that's... It's like, sure, it's like a very intricate test, but it's like...
That's your job.
Yo, you just use that to like... And not that it's really like... This piece of evidence doesn't really hinge on anything, because in all likelihood, that clot of blood was brought up there by an investigator accidentally, like transferred.
Yeah.
Or by the ME himself.
Right.
Doesn't really matter. It's like, it doesn't prove anything, really, at all. But what it does prove here is that he's kind of a bullshitter.
Yeah.
So it's like, that doesn't give me a lot of faith in him.
Not even kind of. He just is a bullshitter.
Exactly. So that's just interesting. I found that in the killing of Julia Wallace, and I'll post the link for that in here. But very strange. Very strange.
Weird.
Now, the evening of the murder. We're going to go back to Richard Gordon Perry for a second.
Okay.
The evening of the murder. Remember, he said that evening he had an alibi. He had an alibi for the night before, too. Now, while this scene is being taken care of, after Julia was found, the police are all at the scene, all this is going on at the house. While this is going on at the house, late night, past midnight, our friend, Richard Gordon Perry, was bringing his car somewhere to get fixed up. Somewhere around midnight. Now, he showed up at Atkinson's all-night garage and taxi service. That was in Moscow Drive in Stonycroft, and he spoke to an employee there named John Parks. John Parks and he, I think, knew each other somehow. Like, they were aware of each other.
Acquainted.
John said later that Perry told him, I need my car cleaned on the inside and the outside. Mm-hmm. Weird time for you to do that.
Very weird.
Now, he said he wanted it completely done.
Yeah, like, I bet.
Totally hosed off, totally scrubbed down. So John was like, I looked at it and I was like, I don't see anything that needs to... So he was like, are you sure? Like, do you really want me to do this right now? Like, I don't see anything wrong with it. That's weird.
Yeah.
Like, why do you want me to do that? And he was like, no. He said he looked very stressed out, very frazzled. And he was like, I need you to do it. Just do it. And he was like, okay. So he was like, all right. So he said he was doing it all. He moves on to the inside. And he said he opened the glove compartment to take out whatever was in there so that it wouldn't get wet while he was cleaning. Because he said completely. So he said he removed a leather baseball mitt. Which is not weird. It's like, he played baseball.
Yeah, whatever.
So he said he removes the mitt, and he says when he removes it, he said it was already soaked in blood. And he's like, very clearly blood, like soaked in it. So John was like, but he kept silent because he was like, I don't know what to say about this. So
right, I don't want to be involved.
Yeah, he was like, you know what? Perry was acting really strange. He was kind of freaking me out. I didn't want to push this any further, so I just
noted that.
Yeah, I locked it in there and I just let it go. So he said Perry left after I completely did the rest of it, which shaking his ass off, probably finishing the rest of this car, being like, what am I scrubbing away right now?
Yes.
Yeah. So he said he left. And John Parks went to his boss who owned the garage.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey,
we got a sitch.
Let me tell you what I just found.
Clean up on aisle 5.
Yeah, and he tells him. He's like, all right, I found this. And his boss is like, wow, that's fucked. And then he's like, that's really crazy. And the two of them were like, oh shit, did you see on the news that that Julia Wallace, Mr. Wallace's wife, was brutally murdered? And they were like, yeah, we've heard around town. It's been everywhere. And so he was like, okay, here's the thing. And they knew that, these two men knew each other, so they were like, okay, if Wallace is arrested for the murder, you need to go forward with this information.
Yeah.
You need to at least have them know that there might be another suspect here.
Yeah.
If he is not arrested, you do what you want with it. But he's like, I would hold it until an arrest is made.
Okay.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't think I do.
1930s, I guess. Everybody's just like...
I don't want to be involved.
Yeah, they're just like, whatever, I'm just going to stay over here.
I'm going to stay in my lane.
I'm going to put on a bowler hat and be fine. So so John Parks was like, all right, I'll wait. I'll see, if Mr. Wallace is arrested, I will go forward and try to help him out with this information. If he's not arrested, maybe I won't. It'll just be...
We'll see.
Maybe I won't introduce
I'll
myself
flip a coin.
this. So that's interesting. That'll come back later. So hang on to it.
I'm holding it.
Just put it away.
I'm holding it in my baseball mitt.
Yeah, put that in your blood-soaked leather baseball mitt that you stick in your glove compartment. So, meanwhile, the body was taken to Prince's Dock Mortuary, and now she's being looked over, Julia. Some interesting things came out of this examination. There were burns found on the skirt that indicated to them that she had been grabbed by the neck. And then they said, and also by her hair, because her hair pad had been ripped viciously out of her head.
Oh.
Yeah. They saw the burns and this disarray as evidence that she had obviously fallen kind of into the fireplace a little bit.
Yeah.
After she was first hit. And then whoever had done it had dragged her to where she was found. Kind of like thrown her down into where she was found. So really brutal.
Yeah.
Really brutal. And it places her closer to the fireplace when the first hit was done. Mm-hmm. So it's helping to kind of like see where this all began. Now, when they looked at her clothing, they noticed that her underclothes were handmade and kind of strangely fitting, which is not weird for her because she kind of, that's how she rocked things. Like, she handmade a lot of her stuff, even though she didn't have to.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was kind of ill-fitting, and like her undergarments were always sticking out from under her skirt and shit.
I love it.
She just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. Hot Mess Express.
Yeah, she didn't care. So they were like, all right. And what they found was they also found money tucked into a little pocket that was sewn into her corset.
That's kind of badass.
Which is kind of like mafia-esque. Like, that's
saying.
like very... I was like, whoa. What were you doing with that?
Well, that's the thing. And I think in the beginning of this, you were like, if you're lying to your husband about your age, what else are you lying about?
Well, yeah. And it's like, you're lying to your husband about your age, like, you're married now. You should probably let that one out.
You've been married for quite some time.
And it's like, you were lying about like 17 years.
Yeah, like, not like
That's a lot.
I'm 25 and you're 30. Because even that, like, don't lie, but...
Well, exactly. And it's like any kind of lie about your age to your, like, spouse is weird. Yeah, like, that's weird. But that much? And then all of a sudden, you know, this comes about, and we've heard before, and we'll hear later, that... like, they asked William Wallace whether he knew if his wife had money of her own, and he was like, probably. And
but
then
he
was
didn't
like,
really know.
I don't know how much she would have or where it would be. And it's like, what?
And it's like, why? I don't know.
And there, a rumor kind of comes. A lot of rumors happen in this case because this was one of those, like, you know, small areas. Everybody knew each
everybody's
other.
Talking.
Shit went around fast. This was a big deal.
Yeah.
So rumors come out of a lot of these little weird idiosyncrasies here. Now, so that's interesting. And they look further, and a really interesting thing that really speaks to the fact that maybe William didn't know how old she was, maybe he did. So they said they looked further, and to their surprise, they found out that she was wearing a handmade adult diaper of sorts.
Oh.
And it was like a piece of white felt that was basically fashioned into a diaper, which, you know, she's older, she's in poor health anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like, that is to be expected when age comes. Like,
yeah.
Incontinence can happen. But it also is kind of like showing that she's much older than what she is putting on. And it's like, did William know this? Did William know that she was incontinent? Like, did she know?
Yeah.
Did he know any of this?
That would be so wild to, like, even to just be able to pull that off, like, hiding that.
Yeah.
When you're married to someone and, like...
You would think he would know.
Did they sleep in the same room, do you know?
I don't know, to be honest.
Huh.
That's an interesting thing. Maybe I'll find it for part 3. Yeah. But yeah, that would be interesting to find out.
Yeah.
But then you go, you know, because then we're going to learn that a lot of these rumors go into, like, you know, sexual shit. And it's like, I feel like that would be known if you're, I don't know. There's just a lot. It was a strange thing that was very interesting to investigators. Being like, huh.
But then I guess, like, in that time period, it's like, did you really get undressed in front of your husband? I don't really know.
I know. I have
like,
no idea.
I have no
idea how like, you
That's
know.
really fucking wild to think about. Like,
that is really wild. I wonder, actually, you know what? Let me pause. So I looked it up. Because it's not your job to look it up, it's mine. So I looked it up, and it looks like in the 1930s, twin beds in the same room were a thing. It was the fashionable modern choice of the 1930s.
So, like, they each had a twin bed.
Yeah, because before that, I think it was like separate bedrooms, good night, see you later. And then it became, we can sleep in the same bedroom now, just in two beds. And
I mean,
they are described as sharing a bedroom. It was their bedroom, so they were at least in the same room together. And I imagine they were in twin beds because it looks like that was the cool thing to do back then.
All right.
I read a thing that said in the 1950s it was seen as, if you were in twin beds and not in the same bed, it was seen as like a sign of a failing marriage. Which,
oh man,
wow. Okay.
I mean, sometimes I want my own space, but
shit's wild.
I don't have a twin bed.
Shit, it's wild.
Maybe I should get a twin size mattress.
That's always crazy to me to see like old sitcoms. When you see, like, you know, and I Love Lucy and stuff, you see things where people are in twin beds, and you're like, that's so strange.
99 over there.
Like, I'm so used to not seeing that. It's just weird.
Whatever floats your boat.
So, yeah, they were in the time period where they would be sleeping in separate beds, likely. I mean, they absolutely could have shared one. There's nothing that says they did or didn't, but they were in the same room.
So then if you think about that, though, like the
modesty thing.
Yeah, it's like modest. And I was just thinking, she had that room for her like hats and handbags. So I wonder if that was almost like a dressing room.
Absolutely. And I think the style then too was the very like choked neck shirts that are very high and very, you know, you're covered up. And you've got like 16 layers of clothing on.
Got like 82 petticoats.
So it kind of makes sense that like they might not
Maybe he didn't know.
You know, there's not a whole lot of like peeking under all those clothing layers happening, I guess.
Gonna get an arm workout lifting a skirt.
But either way, I think it just leads to one of those things where everybody questions, how much did he not know about his wife? How much was she not sharing? So while they're speaking to Wallace at the police station that night, they're formally taking his statements and all that good stuff. Officer Bailey, who was one of the first ones on scene, went back to the scene to check. He was like, I'm going to do one more look through because it got kind of mayhem before that. There was a lot of people in there. So he said, I'm going to check through to see if there's any missed evidence now that everybody's cleared out. So he and a few other investigators took possession while they were in the house of the money that was left in the home and Julia's handbags to bring back to like put out as evidence. They did find out while they were looking through it that one of the paper monies had a smear of blood on it.
Oh.
And it was one of the paper monies that was upstairs in their bedroom.
Oh.
So that's interesting. People had looked at this money many times throughout the scene investigating that day and night and somehow never saw it. But again, we also have a blood clot in the upstairs bathroom that
no one saw.
It's either there the whole time and no one saw it, or they brought it up there accidentally because duh. So the question now is whether they missed it the first few times they saw it, meaning that the blood ended up on the note because the murderer, be it Wallace or some unknown person, touched the money after killing Julia, or the blood was on there because the investigators or Wallace was touching the stuff after they discovered and touched Julia.
Yeah,
because no one's snapping on gloves here. They're all just touching shit.
Which is a huge yikes. But it's also like, why would you touch money and not take it as a murderer? Like there was money missing from the cash box, right?
Exactly. And that's the question we have. So if it's an unknown murderer, and it's a pretty loose, reasonable explanation would be he went up there, he goes to grab the money, then he thinks better of it and puts it back. Weird.
Yeah,
I don't see that happening.
He didn't think better of like not taking a human life, so I don't really see that happening.
And then you think, if it was Wallace, did he go up there, go to take that money to make it look like a robbery, and then things got out, time got away from him, or he decided, no, I'm just going to take the one downstairs and make it seem more pointed that somebody was going after that money and not this money.
Just the way that you described the investigation, I feel like it may have been an accident.
I 100% think this was somebody in that investigation, be it William or someone else, that they did bring him upstairs to go look through everything to show them whether something was missing. He went through there and had to count the money to show them.
Yeah, he may have had blood on his hands.
He had already touched Julia.
Right.
100% he could have.
Yeah.
So it's just strange. That smear really doesn't go anywhere either. They don't really do much with it. It's just, and it's like, it's a fucking blood smear. Does someone want to, I don't know,
can we test
rule this out in some way or another to help any side?
Nobody ever really got the hang of that.
They didn't get the hang of a lot of stuff in here. So they also found so as they're looking through, they find that. They also find on the shelf in the kitchen where that cash box was, they find his diaries that he had kept meticulously. In fact, in those diaries, he literally, I don't think he even missed a day in those diaries of even just writing down this. And it was like a lot of just boring stuff, like, I'm just going to work today. I ate a hard-boiled egg. It was delicious. And he wrote once in all of the diaries in years of being together, he wrote once that they had a, quote, falling out, him and Julia.
Oh.
Because she was buying too many newspapers.
I mean, that'll end any marriage.
That was their fight.
Me and Drew constantly fight about my newspaper intake.
Whenever I buy another newspaper, John's like, this might be the one.
Like, come on, Alaina. Get it together.
This might be the one that breaks us.
It's like 30 cents. We don't have that right now.
We get through it.
Yeah, you know.
We do. We get through it. But that's their fight. Their one fight that he manages to even mention.
Yeah.
Is over her buying too many newspapers, and it was described as a falling out, and then it was just nothing else happened from
Is
it.
newspapers code for something else?
So like drugs
that's
or something.
stupid.
No.
Newspaper is actually code for opium.
No, I literally think their fight was literally like, Julia, you're buying too many papers. And she was
pissed.
Shut up, William. And he was like, man. And then they just moved on.
All right.
That's what it seems like.
Get it.
So that was the only time they ever fought. He wasn't writing about like, we got in another fight again, you know? And he was on it. He would have written it if it was in there.
Yeah.
And it was like a minor complaint here and there, like, you know, she's sick again.
Right.
It's kind of annoying, but like, whatever.
Yeah.
And no other fight.
Join me, Cyndi Lauper, with Chef Michelle Bernstein and Dr. Panico to talk about psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis, the potential connection and risk of developing permanent joint damage.
Cosentyx secukinumab is prescribed for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis 300 milligram dose and adults with active psoriatic arthritis 150 milligram dose. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur, like tuberculosis or other serious bacterial, fungal, or viral infections. Some are fatal. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms like fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, had a vaccine or plan to, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions and severe eczema-like skin reactions may occur.
Learn more at 1-844-COSENTYX or Cosentyx.com/Cindy.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat, emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month, even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending, zero tears. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
So, in fact, on January 7th, just to prove that, like, they didn't have this, like, icy cold marriage that some people said they had this loving marriage, some people said they had this icy cold, tension-filled marriage. I would put it somewhere in the normal realm of a marriage.
Okay.
Because it's on January 7th, 1931. He wrote, quote, "A night of keen frost. The heavy fog gives a wonderful appearance to all plants and trees. Every twig and leaf was most beautifully bordered and outlined with a white rim of frost. Holly leaves, owning to their wavy edges, presented a most charming appearance, and I cannot recollect an occasion on which had produced such wonderfully beautiful effects. After dinner, I persuaded Julia to go to Stanley Park. She was equally charmed. A gradual thaw seems to be setting in now."
Oh.
So he literally is like, everything's beautiful and mystical and it's like a snow globe. And then I convinced my beautiful wife to come with me and look at it. She was enchanted as well. It was lovely.
I love
and you're
that.
Like, I feel like you don't hate each other.
Yeah, I know.
That's
the only thing I'll say, though, about that is, like, the word persuaded is a little weird. Like,
oh, I think that's just, like,
do you think that's just
1930s, like, I persuaded her to come with me. Like, I convinced her to come with me. Like, okay. I don't think that was like, I fucking held a gun to her head and made
well,
her
no, I know that. But I'm saying, like, I just meant, like, maybe she, like, didn't feel like going, and he was, like, you had to, like, you know, push
I think
her
it was
along.
more just, like, I persuaded her. Like, I was like, come look at it with me, and you know what I mean? I think that's just, like, the time. He writes very, like, flowery. So
he does.
I think but it just is kind of like, you know, and she was equally charmed by it.
I know,
like,
that's
we just
cute.
watched the frost together.
I love that.
So yeah, so that just shows like that they weren't like cats and dogs.
Yeah.
According to his his side of that. Now, Wallace was brought at this point after being, interrogated for hours. I read in a couple places like 12 hours.
Oh, damn.
During which he just like chain smoked completely. Like he like barely ate.
Because he's probably like stressed out.
Now, after this, he was brought to his sister-in-law's house, Amy Wallace.
Oh, man.
And she was going to be staying there. She was the wife of his brother, Joseph.
Okay.
And Julia also had a sister, Amy, which is interesting.
Oh, that's funny.
Now, immediately... So he's brought to his sister, Amy Wallace's. She has a son, Edwin, who they're going to be staying together. It's basically like, obviously he can't be in the crime scene, and that's the place to go. So immediately the papers and people around town are like, oh my God, he's living with his sister-in-law. They are fucking 100. And you're like,
does his brother live there too?
His wife was just murdered. Like, this is the only family he has here. What?
Yeah.
Say what? Like, excuse me?
This is like a smear campaign.
Well, and so Joseph, his brother, is in India on like business.
Mm-hmm.
So now people are like, oh yeah, like that's what's happening.
Oh my
Not
God.
they are living together now. This affair is in the open. It's happening. So now the newest thing was that Julia found out that Amy and William were having an affair.
Yes.
And Amy was like, William,
it's me or her.
You gotta kill her so we can live happily ever after together.
And it's like, what are we gonna do with his brother then?
Here's the thing. Amy's husband, everyone said, because nobody knew he was in India, so everyone was like, well, he was murdered as well, just quietly.
Quietly murdered.
Yeah, they just quietly murdered him.
As one does.
Now, Joseph, by the way, is very close, like comes back, was on his way during all this home to be by William's side.
Yeah.
And stays throughout his side, throughout the trial and everything.
My wife and my brother aren't fooking on the low.
Not happening. I'm not murdered. I am here. Hi, hello, hi. And it's like poor Amy is just like thrown into this. And I guess everybody was like treating her like she's this like woman who like seduced
the other woman.
William,
she's a mistress.
So Julia's sister, the sister-in-law, Amy, like I said, had a son, Edwin. And he was a medical student, upstanding citizen. And he said this to police in a statement when they spoke to him about the murder. He said, quote, "Except for periods of absence at boarding school, I have been in close touch with my uncle and his wife. I never once saw any quarrels between them or anything other than an atmosphere of mutual trust and happiness. Up in the upstairs back room, my uncle has a laboratory. My aunt rather objected to this being up in the back room, as she said it was too cold and damp for him, as he was not strong. There's no hint of ill feeling about this."
Oh.
So then Amy Wallace, who is now being accused of like having an affair with him, said, quote, "I visited the Wallaces frequently, and very often they would play music for us for an hour or so. Everything about the household was perfectly normal and seemed very happy. Mr. Wallace relied on his wife a great deal to look after him. She did it without his bothering. And, for example, she would change his wet clothes when he had been out collecting. On the evening of Sunday the 18th of January last, I was at Wolverton Street with my son, and everything passed off in the usual way. As usual, the Wallaces were very comfortable and happy, except that Mrs. Wallace had a cold. Mrs. Wallace was telling us about a burglary about 2 doors down the road."
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't seem like the other woman.
No. I think that's preposterous.
It's very preposterous.
Yeah.
The salaciousness of these people in this area at this time, I'm like, this is hilarious, because like the tea that they want,
well, because they're just
is not the tea they're getting, so they're just gonna make it.
They're bored as fuck.
They make up the weirdest shit. Wait until you see the rest of the stuff they make up. It's hilarious.
I love it.
It's amazing.
We love a town gossip.
The whole town is a gossip. It's great.
I'm here for it.
So about his demeanor, because remember, that was a big bone of contention for everybody. Everybody was saying, the Johnstons, the neighbors who showed up when they discovered Julia, were saying how, he was very clearly upset. He was sobbing in the kitchen. Like, he was petting that cat because that was Julia's cat.
And the cat had been missing.
Yeah.
And just randomly came back.
But the Emmy and all the investigators said he was stone cold, too calm, totally detached, like weird demeanor, wasn't showing any emotion. And we talked about how that's bullshit. A lot of people,
right.
I would be the same way probably.
Right.
So you can't judge that. So about his demeanor, they asked Amy and Edwin, because now they've been around him. And Amy said, quote, "I and my son were taken into the house by the back way, having been directed to do so by the police." She's talking about the night of the crime. "Mr. Wallace was sitting by the fire in the kitchen, almost heartbroken, very much cut up and crying. Usually he is rather a calm man, but tonight he was very much upset indeed, as was to be expected." Edwin said, quote, "He was awfully upset and had his handkerchief to his eyes, as he was crying profusely. I told my uncle I was terribly sorry, and he said, yes, I realize that, and nothing said at this time can help." He continued to be terribly upset all the time that we were there.
Oh.
So these two are being like, oh no, like
he's
he
like
wasn't
sobbing.
this stone cold, like not doing anything. He was fucking sobbing. Like, and it doesn't matter. But Amy later said that when they got home after the police had left finally again, he didn't even want to change out of his clothing, and he just laid down on the couch, and she was like, "Do you want to like change or like take, get dressed up or get washed and get comfy?" And he said he just like shook his head, and I guess he said, "I shall miss her terribly."
Oh,
so to me that sounds like somebody who's grieving.
Yes.
Like very upset and had somebody taken away from them, not taken somebody away from themselves.
Right.
Now the next day, people start calling in with tips and shit, because even in the 1930s, everybody was like, I gotta get my shit in here. So they called. One call said that they knew the Wallaces had a maid that they had recently fired. So they were like, huh. Mm-hmm. And then this person was like, and I want you to know that Wallace is fucking the maid.
Oh, God.
So it's like, what is going on
Wallace
with this?
is young and getting it.
What is going on with this? So this person is like, so Wallace is getting it on with the maid. Julia found out and fired her. So obviously he murdered her so that they could be together, him and the maid.
Cool. Where's the maid then?
Clearly. So they had to take this seriously, because what the hell else are they going to do? And it sounds so salacious. How could they not follow this up? You
Come
follow
on.
it
Yeah.
up.
Us Weekly.
So they ask Wallace about it. They're like, hello, did you have a maid that you were fucking and then Julia found out and she fired them and now you two killed her?
And he said,
you can be together?
Oh, shit. Sorry. Yeah.
And he was like, no, we never had a maid ever. And he was like, we did have a part-time housekeeper that literally came in once a week and worked with Julia to clean the house.
Yeah.
Like, just kind of like helped her out with the heavier stuff.
Right.
And he was like, that's literally all we have. So he was like, I don't, and I think he was like, I think her name's Sarah. I don't talk to her much. Like she works with Mrs. Wallace. And then he was like, you can find her on like Derby Street. I think it was. She lives on Derby Street.
Yeah.
So he was like, go get her. You
Sure.
can ask her. So they did find her. Her name was Sarah Draper.
Oh, there you go.
And she said she was actually hired by Mr. Wallace, but didn't interact with him much because he was working most of the time. And she said Julia was sick a lot, so she needed a hand with the heavier stuff in the house once a week.
Yeah, everything
She
that Wallace said.
We had a great relationship, me and Julia. She was fine. Nothing weird.
I wasn't fucking Wallace.
Definitely wasn't fucking William Wallace. Barely saw him.
Thank you, though.
He didn't remember my name, so there's that. So they were like, okay, cool, but you probably know more. And she was like, probably not. So they were like, we should.
She was like, probably not.
So they brought her to the crime scene.
That's a lot.
And they're like, Julia's removed at this point, but there's the after effects. And they were like, you need to walk around with us and you need to tell us if you see anything strange. Do you see anything that's missing from this house that you see in this house every Wednesday?
Okay.
Strange way to go about this.
Real weird.
But okay.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month. Even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending. Zero tears. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
So she's like, cool. So immediately upon getting into the parlor, she's like, oh, one of the fire pokers is missing.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh. And they were like, which one? She was like, it's about 9 inches long, always in the same place. It's not there right now.
Right.
That's definitely missing. So she said also a large piece of iron about a foot long and about as thick as a candle. And she said that was missing. And she said she always saw it. It was always in the fireplace in the parlor.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what they used it for was to like brush out ashes, like brush out like cigarette butts or lit matchsticks and stuff that from the fire.
Yeah.
So she's like, we use it all the time. They use it a lot. And it's always there. It's not there.
Yeah.
So they were like, those two things are missing. So they're like, cool. So they bring Wallace back in and they're like, do you see anything missing? Let's just give you one more shot at this.
Yeah.
He says no, he doesn't see anything missing.
But he's like, I mean, he's a little grieving. Stressed out right now.
And it doesn't sound like he does a lot of the household stuff.
Right.
So maybe he doesn't even know that he wouldn't notice. He doesn't do that shit.
Yeah.
They do that shit.
Right.
So why would he notice?
Right.
So they told the ME, Professor McFall, or McPhail, however we want to talk to him, about the iron piece. And they were like, it's like a thickness of a candle. It's pretty like decent. And they were like, could this have been the murder weapon? Because we're looking for that murder weapon. And he's like, yup, it could have.
Oh my God.
So problem was, Sarah described this iron bar to them. They don't have the iron bar.
You don't know exactly what it looks like.
She's just telling them what it looks like. Maybe don't go off of that. And also Sarah, when he was like, yup, totally, like that's it. She was like, well, like it was rusty as hell. Like this is a very rusty thing. And she's like, the whole thing was rusted out. Rust would have come off of it if it was hit on something.
Yeah.
Well, in her wounds, Julia's wounds, and on her, no rust was found. None. But they totally ignored that. They were like,
good.
Nope, that's the weapon. We got to find that. So it was like, what the fuck? Now, then they hear from this switchboard operator, because at this point they're trying to figure out where that call the night before came from. They're still working on that while trying to work on the immediate stuff of like the murder weapon and all that.
Right.
So in the background, they've been working on where that call came from, trying to trace it. They finally hear from a switchboard operator named Leslie Heaton. And she was the one who actually helped them figure out where the call came from, which, like, what a badass.
Love that.
It was a phone booth, and they found out that it was 400 yards from Wallace's house that phone call was made. And it was actually next to the tram stop that he used to get to the chess meeting that night. So this...
a little weird.
Doesn't look great for him. Because it kind of looks like he could make that call...
and then beep,
jump
pop,
on,
loop,
pop
baby.
over, and oop, he showed up right after that call. Weird.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, but not like smoking gun.
That's called circumstantial evidence.
But certainly interesting.
Yeah.
You gotta put it in your hat a little bit and just hold it there for a minute.
Put it in your hat.
Just put it in your hat. That's what you do with important things.
All right, Yankee Doodle.
I don't know where that came from, but I did. I put important things in my hat that I don't wear.
Because you're always, yeah.
So now the autopsy is happening.
Alrighty.
Here, let's look at the autopsy. So the autopsy happened on January 21st, 1931 at Prince's Dock Mortuary. The ME, Dr. McPhail, said that he was examining the body of Julia Wallace, and he said a woman of about 55 years old. She was 69.
That's a really big difference.
Good try.
Like, that's a really big difference.
I love that this guy's like, yup, she was 55 years old. It's
right.
Like, you can't even tell how old she is?
Like, that's a lot of stupid.
What's happening right now? Like,
yeah, you're silly.
Yeah, she was about 5'2", maybe a little taller. Lightly built, prominent abdomen, which I was like, rude.
What?
I don't know what that means.
Prominent abdomen?
I feel like I would, like, that's
like
not,
a pot belly?
Like, that's not a nice thing to say, I don't feel like.
Yeah, like,
it's
fuck you.
Like, what the hell? No matter what it means, it's like, that just doesn't, that sounds rude.
Yeah, shut up.
I don't know. You just don't need to say it. She was not pregnant, they said.
No, not at 69 years
69. Old. There was a small recent bruise mark on the inside of her left upper arm. There was no other marks of violence on the trunks or limbs. The hair was matted with blood and brain tissue.
Gross.
They did shave her hair off so they could get a better view of it. There are crime scene photos of this. You can see the crime scene. You can also see her head.
Spooky.
After it was shaved, so you can see it. There is a pretty big wound. It's a lacerated wound on her head, 2 inches by 3 inches, from which the brain and bone were protruding. On the back of the head, on the left side, were 10 diagonal, apparently incised wounds.
Okay.
Now, like cut wounds. Almost.
Yeah.
So, they said on removal of the scalp, the left frontal bone was driven into the front of the brain, corresponding to the external wound.
Ow.
The whole of the left side of the back of the skull was driven in and broken into pieces.
Ow.
The injury extended into the middle and real fossa, fracturing and breaking up the rear part of the cerebellum. bursting the tentorium cerebelli and breaking up the left part of the cerebellum. So basically it's just shattering that brain tissue.
Yeah.
The left lateral sinus was broken across. Also the I can never say it. Meningeal. There we go. Meningeal arteries. So the appearance, it says, was as if a terrific force with a large surface had driven in the scalp, bursting it into parallel lines. With the appearance of several incised wounds, but the edges of these wounds were not sharp. So it almost looked like she got that giant hit and a couple more, and then it just kept happening.
Yeah.
At least a handful of hits. So everything else they said was pretty normal. They said the stomach contained about 4 ounces semi-fluid, consisting of currants, raisins, and unmasticated lumps of carbohydrate. Interesting. So she had some kind of bread or muffin or scone with like raisins and currants in it. And it was pretty recent. Currants are like other little like fruit thing or raisiny kind of things. It says everything else was normal. And it says, I am of the opinion that death was due to fracture of the skull by someone striking the deceased 3 or 4 times with a hard, large-headed instrument. Now, 3 or 4 times, he says. He later changes this at trial.
Yeah, that seems like not a lot.
Changes it by a lot, as we'll see.
Because they, like, in my terms, they demolished her head.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I feel like that's a lot more than 3 or 4 hits.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, given if you did it with, like, enough force, you get her down the first one, and you are able to get 3 more, like, really hard ones. Right. You could do it. But, it's honestly, I wouldn't question it so much if he changes it later. So it's like, which one is it?
Right.
So then Wallace told police they had eaten a meal together before he went back out.
Okay.
Before he went back out, he said that they had scones together. So
that could be the carbohydrate.
The thing. Now, he said that this was a bit past 6 p.m., but McFall said she was dead by 6 p.m.
Yeah, but he was hella wrong.
But the meal is there to confirm that she was alive and eating past 6.
Right.
So already we're like fucking up. This time is bullshit.
Yeah.
But they keep hinging on it. They hinge on his shit. Now, remember, this was such a brutal murder that whoever did it would have been covered in blood.
Yeah.
Covered. There's no way you would get away from this. In fact, the first thing the cops did was tell everyone to look for people covered in blood stains just walking around the city.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, they're just like, go find those people.
Like as if they would not change their clothes.
Well, obviously, Wallace's clothing was microscopically analyzed because they're going to look to see. It was analyzed by William Roberts, who was a forensic analyst specializing in this. He said there was not even one speck of blood on his clothing.
Wow.
And they did a benzodine test. So even if he had washed his clothing, which when would he have done that? It still would have reacted positively.
Wow.
The test is such that when the benzodine, hydrogen peroxide, and glacial acetic acid comes in contact with blood, the resulting solution will turn blue to indicate a positive reaction. Didn't happen.
I think that's so cool that you could even do that back then.
Yeah, I know. They were like really up on it.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed.
But apparently this doesn't matter.
Oh,
it's fine.
Okay.
So the police officer that was working this case actually said at this point, quote, "I remember one of my colleagues remarking that if Wallace was the criminal, he had not only committed a crime, but perfected a miracle. He had to have escaped from the murder room as clean as he went in was like taking a shower or a bath and not getting wet."
Wow.
So they're all sitting there being like, this is literally impossible. But we have to pretend like it's not.
It says literally plant-based.
So you want to know what they're... Because this is pretty... How do you explain that?
Yeah, you don't.
He doesn't have a speck of blood on him. Explain it. They were like, oh, explain it? Okay. He was fucking naked.
What?
He was naked. He was naked.
What?
No, he wasn't just naked. He was naked with his coat on, and his coat protected him. So he was naked with a Macintosh coat on.
What?
Yep. And that coat that was found beneath Julia, that was his, the one that they kept asking him, is that yours? And he was like, yes, it's mine.
That's the one he was wearing.
Put it on. They were like, that's the one that you were wearing. You stripped off all your clothes. You were butt-ass naked. You put on that Macintosh to protect you from getting blood on you. And then, when you saw that it was soaked in blood, you just stuffed it under Julia.
Yep.
Which seems like the right thing to do, right? Yep. No, you wouldn't get rid of the coat. You would just stuff it under her.
Yep.
So William Wallace, a 52-year-old insurance salesman who is killing his wife for no discernible reason at all.
Did it while naked.
Did it naked.
Kinky.
It's getting awesome.
It's really a lot.
Awesome. It's getting kinky. It's getting weird. It's getting awesome.
Yeah.
And it's going to get even more weird.
We're keeping it weird on this one.
So by now, the newspapers had accounted all of this. And it seems like Wallace was being blamed for in every way, shape, and form.
Oh, yeah.
So now there's been a few people that went to the Wallace's house that day. They had like milk delivery. They had, bread delivery. Yeah. There was all kinds of deliveries that happened back then. And it was usually kids who did these things, like 14-year-olds.
Yeah, like kids with paper routes and shit.
So one of these boys was named Douglas Metcalf, and he delivered newspapers to the Wallaces every morning.
Uh-oh.
He was speaking to friends because they had told him, they don't need their newspaper anymore. Don't deliver it.
Julia's got too many of them.
So he's talking to his other friends who delivered other things, like the dairy and such. A girl who worked with the son of the dairy shop owner. His name was Alan Close. He was a 14-year-old boy. He said that he actually delivered milk to the Wallaces, and he did this every day. And she said that he had told her he delivered milk to Mrs. Wallace that day around 6:45. Now, when Metcalf heard her say this, he told her, he was like, the newspapers are saying that the bread boy, Neil, was the last guy to see her alive. But it was Alan.
Right.
If he was like, and
at 6:45.
Yeah, and they were like, and Alan needs to go to the police and tell them that he saw her at 6:45 because Mr. Wallace is being railroaded for this. Like, somebody's got to say something.
Right.
So 14-year-old Alan shows up to this group of kids, and Douglas Metcalf is like, dude, when did you see Mrs. Doesn't say he knows. It's just like, when did you see Mrs. Wallace on that day?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I saw her at 6:45.
Right. Hello.
So Metcalf is like, holy shit, and says the same thing to him. You got to tell the police. So he's like, all right, that will give him like kind of at least like somewhat of an alibi, or make them at least look at it more.
Yeah.
So they convinced him to go to the house where the police are stationed, because they're still stationed at the crime scene. He goes there. The police officer ushers him in and talks to him for a second. He apparently comes out and he tells them that he's like, nope, they told me not to mention it to anybody.
Because here's they wanted everyone to be like, oh, William Wallace did it. We're safe. No, nothing to see here.
Yeah. They were literally like, yep. Because they talked to McPhail. Or McFall, but McPhail.
No, it's McPhail.
They talked to McPhail, and he was like, no, that's bullshit. She was dead by 6. And they were like, but what if this kid is saying that he literally talked to her? Like, literally handed her milk.
He's like,
and
they
were
care.
like, no. And so it's like, okay. And the investigators are literally like, well, the milk boy is just mistaken. That's it. Like, no other explanation. He's just mistaken. So there's that. That's going to come back afterwards too,
I would think.
Now later, the rumor does get out, and people start talking about this and being like, wait, the milk boy saw her? Like, wait a second. But then instead of being like, oh, maybe the police are just being corrupt, and this is like just them pointing at Wallace with no reasoning, they're like, no, I know what it is. I think that wasn't actually Julia that answered the door that night at 6:45.
Okay.
I think it was her sister-in-law, Amy, who was having that passionate affair with William.
You gotta give it up at some point.
And was speaking to Alan dressed in Julia's clothing, who was murdered inside at that point.
Yeah, because William's naked and she's wearing Julia's clothes, and it's just a fucking great time in here.
Alan, who has seen them every day and spoken to Mrs. Wallace every day, knows what she looks like. In fact, said that day... She said, oh, do you have a little cough? And he was like, I do have a little cough. And she was like, me too. Get some rest. And they were like, cool.
Cute.
Like, so they had a moment of speaking. So people were like, okay, that's fine. We can explain that. It was William dressed as Julia and putting on a woman's voice.
Okay, Mrs. Doubtfire.
He was a foot taller than her.
Yep.
And also had a mustache.
Yep.
But okay.
Who's to say?
Yeah, who's to say?
Not me.
Who's to say? She just
not Alan.
She was on stilts. It's fine.
You know who's to say?
And he was really well. Like, he did a really great job at just.
She was on stilts.
Yeah, she was on stilts, and
she was really getting to that cleaning. She really wanted to do the higher dusting.
She was
areas.
like, I don't need the housekeeper anymore. I can do this.
Fire Sarah. She's fucking my husband.
But literally,
on stilts.
Everybody's like, yeah, that makes sense. So now this is when things get really crazy.
See, you keep saying that, but they're really kind of just keeping it crazy on the same level.
So now, 52-year-old insurance salesman who likes to tinker in his laboratory and has failing kidneys.
Stop.
Is now not just having a passionate affair with his sister-in-law. He's now betting women all over town.
Oh, of course.
He is a master of seduction. He is
that William Wallace.
He's ripping women away from their husband while he goes on his insurance route, and he's just causing mayhem. Who knew?
Everywhere. William Wallace.
He's Fabio of 1931.
William Wallace, young and getting it.
He's young and getting it. So now people were thinking, so he's at this point, he hasn't been arrested at this point. He's been brought in a ton for interrogation, Wallace, but they released him every time. What they didn't tell him, but what he probably knew, was that they were tailing him this entire time.
Oh, yeah.
They had 24-hour surveillance on him.
Absolutely.
So people noticed this, like at local pubs. They were like, yeah, we can see that this fucking detective's
you guys are not really keeping this low key.
You're not on the low here. But so people started being like, oh, he has protection from surveillance. So people were like, no, that's not surveillance. He asked for that protection because all the husbands of all the women are trying to get together and they're trying to kill him. So he needed 24-hour protection because he's such a Lothario.
These people needed stimulation.
I'm going to post another picture of William Wallace. he's sure. You're like, all right.
Yeah, I don't know if he's scooping in and snatching up your wives.
I don't know if he's one, but maybe he has a great personality. He's smart.
So he likes to be naked. So.
But he loves to be naked. So there's that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he just needs that 24-hour surveillance.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
It's insane.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Far too much.
So then people started talking about, well, he's an insurance agent. He knows he sells insurance. He probably put a hefty insurance policy on her, like life insurance policy on her, and he killed her to get it.
Mm-hmm.
No. So the life insurance policy on her was only £20. It covered barely the expense of the funeral, and there was nothing left after that. There would have been literally no reason for that. So that didn't work, but people hung on it anyway. Then they pointed to him being a chess player as reason for him being the murderer.
How?
Suddenly he became a brilliant chess player. So obviously only someone so brilliant at chess could do this, because it takes planning. It takes meticulous anticipating of events and risks and plotting out this whole thing and manipulation, which is what you do in chess. But first, that's a huge leap.
Yes.
That's a huge leap to be like, you like chess, you murder people.
I've always said that chess and murder go hand in hand.
Obviously. Well, second, he sucked at chess.
Right.
He was not that. Everyone at his club heard these rumors and were like, what?
Yeah, no.
And they were like, he was not a brilliant chess player. He just loved chess. He just liked it.
Yeah.
And they were like, in fact, one of them was quoted as saying, quote, the murder of his wife apart, I think Wallace ought to be hanged for being such a bad chess player.
That's awesome.
To which I say, I want to hang out with these chess guys.
To which I say, too soon, buddy.
That was so dark.
And it's like,
I would have laughed so hard at that joke, and we would have both been kicked out. I want to know who that guy was.
You know, that guy just had a pint in front of him and was like, get the fuck out of my face.
That guy gets it.
Oh,
that guy gets it. He gets the gallows humor. He understands.
He do.
I want to be like, are you an autopsy technician? Do you work with dead people? I feel like you do. You have that sense of humor. But yeah, so he sucked at chess. So that whole brilliant manipulation, anticipating, he was smart.
Yeah.
But it had nothing to do with chess.
No.
But I think they're just trying to make him into a character now. He's become a character.
They definitely are trying.
They're making him a character. So then, that kind of is floating out there, but it's not enough. So he likes science, right? So he's a mad scientist. That's
Jekyll and Hyde.
That's what happens. You like scientists, your hair goes crazy and you become a mad scientist. That's always the way. So they were like, what is going on? Now this no basis to any of this. He just likes science. He has a lab.
Yeah.
How dare he?
Rude.
Well, now people are like, I bet he's doing crazy ass experiments in that lab where he's torturing animals.
What?
No basis. Nothing.
What?
Nothing to say this. And they were like, I bet he just likes seeing animals suffer. So he was like, this is fun. But then after a while, he was like, I'm bored. And he was like, I need to see humans suffer.
I don't really think that he was like a Jeffrey Dahmer-esque kind of guy.
Well, this also went hand in hand with him being like a sex addict rumor, because they're saying he concocted aphrodisiacs in his lab to entice these women into bed.
You know, it's really funny. I guarantee you he had like a dark chocolate bar in that room, and they were like, oh my God, sex fiend on the loose.
Love potion here.
What? They found like an oyster shell. He actually just liked nautical decor.
Oh, also, but they were like, here he is just throwing these down everybody's throats, just getting them all worked up.
He's always got a couple oysters in his pocket.
Yep, snot on a rock. He's just throwing it down everyone's throat,
Don't
being
say
like,
that to
let's
me.
get it on. Well, and then on top of that, they were like, ooh, a laboratory. Probably an opium den, I bet. So he's probably tripping balls too.
We're like, no, that's actually the medical examiner on the case.
And it's like,
don't
guys,
get confused.
Is there a place where you guys stop? Like, I don't know where.
To great lengths.
Because why not?
This should be called the Great Lengths murder.
Let's just make him like let's make him living in an opium den, torturing animals, just having
It also
naked
was not-
women orgies everywhere.
Well, here's the thing. I'm like, where is he like having sex with all these women?
Apparently in their homes while he's dropping off their insurance policies.
Oh, okay. Got
That's
it.
what everybody was going with.
Also, like, is Julia not going to hear him torturing small animals while she's literally home and sick all the time?
You would think so.
Yeah. And like, he's like pretty sick all the time. What's he do with them when he's sick?
And also there's literally not one shred
Of evidence.
for like, this is total bullshit. But it was being looked on as this is motive. This is motive.
Yikes.
Like, all that sex shit, that was motive. Someone was... At the end of the day, the police were like, listen, someone's fucking someone they shouldn't be fucking, and that's the reason that she died. We don't care who it is, but it's happening.
Scandal.
Which I love, that they just hung their hat on, like...
They're like, this is sex related.
Some kind of penetration is happening that shouldn't be happening.
Wasn't she like not even assaulted either?
No, she wasn't assaulted.
That's the other thing. I'm like, what gives us motive that this was like
None.
sexually
They
motivated?
just threw... Because they were like, sex makes people angry, so let's just do this.
Like what?
It's so strange.
I think it was like the 1930s, and they were like the devil.
So then they were like, okay, it's an opium den, so there's that. And then they were like, oh, you know what? This kind of sounds occulty and black magic-y, so like,
What?
maybe he's also a follower of Aleister Crowley.
Obviously.
Does he have a book of Aleister Crowley's? No.
Oh.
Does he have anything that would suggest that he is a follower of Aleister Crowley?
No. But he is, though.
But he is. He did write in one of his diaries that he and Julia have very different views on religion. She was like a Catholic, went to church, and he was agnostic. So he was like, I think that if I'm, which I was like, I'm down for that, because he was like, we get along fine. Like, she can believe what she believes. I believe what I believe, which I was like, yay.
That's what you should do. I have friends from
The
like
whole
all
world
different
should be that way.
religions.
And he said, if I'm a good person and I don't hurt people and I do my best and I live a good, like, you know,
Upstanding
good life, then I would hope that I would go the same place that she goes.
Aww.
That's what he said. He was like, that's what I hope.
Yeah.
So maybe they looked at him being an agnostic and were like, he's obviously a Satanist.
Well, maybe back then.
Because back then, like 1930s, you know, like it could be. I don't know where else they drew this conclusion, because besides him being a scientist, maybe they were like, "Wah." But yeah, so
like
now
science.
Now he's a Satanist. He's into black magic. And he's
Okay.
also running an opium den, torturing small animals, fucking everyone in town.
And guess what else? He listens to Metallica.
And he does it naked.
Before they exist.
And he does it naked.
I'm picturing William Wallace just running around his insurance places with a Metallica shirt on, being like, 666, I love the devil.
He's just like jamming to Enter Sandman.
I also just picture him with black nail polish on, and it made my day.
It's like, dun, 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 dun. He comes home.
He's like, Julia, what the fuck is up?
That's what he's doing in his lab on his lunch breaks. He goes up there and it's like a teenage boy going
like
up to his room.
booming.
It's just like, doo, 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 and he's just sitting there like... looking through his microscope.
He's like, let's get it.
It's just his moment of release, which I think is rad. Good for you, William. So then
song slaps.
So then the people So now the people who think that William wasn't the guy were like, we need to contribute to the rumor mill as well. Because they're like, we can't just let this be all William's the bad guy. Right?
Yeah.
Now, when I think of the rumor mill also, I don't know if anybody, this is totally off topic, but it's funny.
Whatever.
So hang in there. Any of you who watched the original Sabrina the Teenage Witch series, they did an episode where it was like she had to work in the rumor mill. Yep. And it was an actual mill. Yep. And I thought of it and I laughed so hard.
I remember that.
And it also has, what's his name from Clueless? I'm going to look it up because I can't leave you guys like that.
Paul Rudd?
No. Donald Faison. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. I love him too.
I don't know why I thought Paul Rudd was in Sabrina, so.
But he's like her boyfriend at the time and they make up rumors. And one of them is that Harvey's pregnant. It's funny. I think you should watch it.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
But I just want to give you a little levity
here.
And
then Harvey becomes pregnant.
He does. And then she like has no teeth. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So go ahead and watch it. It's on Prime. So they said, they were like, we got to start contributing to this because it can't be all about William.
Yeah.
So they were like, here's the thing. Let's go way far out of the box. No, let's not go out of the box. Julia was having an affair with a married man. And when he broke it off, she threatened to tell his wife and ruin his life. So that rhymes.
He killed her.
So he paid her a weekly sum of money or however many, like weekly, monthly, whatever.
Julia actually had a sugar daddy.
Just to keep her quiet. Like, you got to shut the fuck up. And he offered her to just stop it all because he was like, this is becoming an issue for me. They said the reason the cash box was robbed but nothing else was because that's where he thought the money that he had been paying her was stashed and he just wanted to recoup his payments.
I mean, that's not like crazy except for the fact that I don't think she was having an affair.
I don't either. I mean, this held a bit of water because Wallace couldn't say how much or where Julia's money was. Mm-hmm. And he was actually shocked to find out she had 90 pounds in a bank account that he didn't know about.
Oh.
So maybe there was a secret lover money. I don't know.
She also had a secret pocket for money. That's weird.
There was a secret pocket, so there could be a secret lover. They also spoke with Gladys again and Beatty, and or Beatty, I think it is. And Beatty was the captain at the chess club. He was the one who got the call. I am the captain now. He got the call. So they wanted to talk to them again to get another better idea of that whole phone call situation because it's very strange.
Yeah.
Now Gladys said the man sounded like an elderly gentleman and spoke very articulately, very refined, nothing out of the ordinary, just a very refined man.
Okay.
Now Beatty described the voice as, quote, strong and gruff, ready of utterance, confident, definite in knowing what to say.
He definitely prepared that statement.
And gruff. Like, that's not refined and, like, elderly gentleman.
It's the exact opposite.
So this could mean that the caller, Qualtro, actually disguised his voice for Beatty, perhaps because Beatty would recognize it as a voice that he knows if he used his real voice. Ahem, William Wallace. Maybe. Just to play devil's advocate. Would be strange, but it's possible. Now, after a long 10 hours of being questioned on another day, Wallace is finally released
He's probably so pissed off.
So he runs into, at the tram station, his friends from chess club there.
Yeah.
And Beatty was there. Beatty saw him, and he was like, hey, Wallace, like, what's going on? And then he was like, before you say anything, like, please don't talk about the murder or anything, because I don't want you to say something that you, like, don't mean to, and I don't want to be involved in this. So he was like, please, just like me. And so I guess William was like, okay, cool. Can you be more specific on the timing of the Qualtra call the other night? Like, he was like, what time did he call?
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, I really, like, I just told you I don't want to, like, do this. But he was like, I can't be more specific. I just know it was, like, around that 7 o'clock time. So he was like, you can't get, like, anywhere else, like you can't tell me like a specific.
Can you just look at
like,
the caller ID?
Just the caller ID in the 30s. And he kept saying to me, he kept pressing me, and he kept saying it's really important. Like, it seemed like he was trying to get it closer to 7. Mm-hmm. What he didn't know was that a police officer was listening because he was being surveilled, and he was in the shadows, and he told the rest of this information to the rest of the police officers when he went back to the department. So once they hear this, they're like, that's strange that he was like, pushing for that. So they confronted Wallace with it. And Wallace was like, yeah, I did. I'm just stressed out. I just want this to be over. Like, I'm just trying to get more information.
I just want to, like, move on to the actual grieving process.
And he's like, you know, the coroner's inquest is coming up. I thought that could help with it if we had a better time. And he actually says the quote, when they said, like, why did you do that? He said, quote, I have an idea, Wallace said. And then he said, we all have ideas. It was indiscreet of me. So they were like, what does that mean? So they took this as him being guilty and wanting to change Beattie's story, when really it just seems like he wanted to be more specific about the time.
Yeah.
So Beattie agreed that, like, he didn't think he was trying to change his story. He just was desperately trying to get anything to help him.
Yeah, he's trying to figure out not only who killed his wife, but also get the cops off of his booty.
That's the thing. It's like he's just trying to do anything that's like, get me out of here, because they're trying to pin this on me.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Somebody. So that, of course, it comes up later. It's
a whole thing.
He never should have said anything, because it's like, and especially like, I was indiscreet. They use that as like, oh, you're indiscreet. So you think that, like, and he's like, no, I meant like, I'm not being smart about this. Like I should, you know, it just sucks. So now they have an idea at this point that he's being weird. He totally did it. The naked coat, all the things, the opium den, the sex parties, the like, woo woo, like all that. But they're worried about this Alan Milk kid. Because although they told him, forget about it, don't say anything.
He's like, going to keep talking.
People are already hearing about it. So January 25th, it was a Sunday, they bring Alan in.
Yeah.
And later at court, they would not be able to give any information about how long Alan was interviewed, who interviewed him, any of the details about this interview.
Because they paid him off.
Any of the records. And in trial, now he's 14 years old. They just scared the shit out of him.
Oh, yeah.
So in trial, they all didn't answer any of this. They were like, nope, not going to say a word about that. All that came from this was suddenly Alan was terrified and had changed his memory.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. He was like, oh, I was so wrong.
You know what it sounds like is Jesse from the West Memphis 3.
It's 100%. So now he said he was like, now I remember. Now before he had it 6:45. Now he has it that he looked at the clock face on Holy Trinity Church and it was glowing. He remembers it perfectly. And he said, when I looked at it, it was right before I went to the Wallace's home, and it was 6:25, not 6:45. So it was 6:25.
All right.
So they did this entire retracing and recreation of this route with him.
Cute.
They used a stopwatch, and they wanted to see exactly how long it would take, when he would get to the house, how long he would talk to them for. They, after doing this, came to the conclusion that he arrived to give the milk to Mrs. Wallace at 6:31. Not 6:45.
Okay.
And that Wallace could only have left the house at the very latest at 6:49. So according to this test, he had 18 minutes to kill her, brutally kill her, clean up, brutally clean up.
Clean the fuck up.
I want you to clean your room and I want you to do it brutally. I'm going to say that. So then he also had to steal from himself by ripping the cabinet door off.
Go upstairs, put some blood on that
Wash
money.
himself completely. And that's it. But they were like, yep, that's it. 18, that's all he needs.
Yeah.
That proves it right there.
Yeah.
That's it.
It takes me like 18 minutes to get out of fucking bed in the morning.
So you know what they took from this? February 2nd at 7 p.m., 2 weeks after the murder, they arrested William Wallace at Amy's flat for the murder of his wife.
Wow, what a bunch of bullshit.
And when they arrested him, he said, what can I say in answer to a charge of which I am absolutely innocent?
I do think he's innocent. I don't think he did it.
100% I think he's innocent.
Yeah, this is bullshit.
Now, we're going to end.
You suck!
In 1 second. Because remember, I told you about Richard Gordon Perry and how he had gone to that mechanic shop?
Yeah, and the baseball.
Well, now William Wallace is arrested.
Right.
And remember, his boss was like, you go to the fucking police. Well, John Parks was like, okay. So he
runs.
He runs to the police. I'm making a running motion. I'm doing it.
She is.
He runs to the police and he's like, I have a bombshell. I have Richard Gordon Ramsay. There's a baseball glove soaked in blood the same night that he tells you he has an alibi. What you gonna do about it?
They don't care.
And they were like, absolutely nothing. And that was it. They never spoke about it again.
So
they never looked into it.
Hold on to that for this entire fucking episode. You know what? I almost said, oh no, I told you sucked like preemptively. Nope, you suck.
Yeah.
I'm mad at you.
So that's where we're going to end for part 2 because there's an entire trial that gets crazy.
Crazy.
Crazy. And even more rumors.
So, you don't say.
That's part 2 of the impossible murder of Julia Wallace.
In part 3, William has a sex dungeon.
And like I told you, you're going to get part 3 much sooner than this one, so hang tight.
Look out for that, brother. I don't really know.
And, tell us what you're thinking as, like, do you think he did it? Do you think he didn't? I think he did not. 150%, I think
I don't think he did at all. I don't know who did, though.
Yeah, that's the problem here.
I mean, maybe that guy with the bloody baseball mitt.
One of the problems is they didn't look for any other suspects. Right. None. So it's like we have nothing to go on.
Well, and like you said, there was all these burglaries going on.
Exactly.
But they zeroed in like a burglary gone wrong-ish.
Maybe.
But it didn't really look like that.
Yeah, it's strange.
I don't fucking know. But in the meantime, while you're waiting for part 3, keep listening to other episodes.
Yeah. Do that.
And we hope you
keep
it weird. But also weird that any of this happens and you just spread rumors every single day of your life, even though none of them have any substance at all. And definitely just don't do that. Bye.
Bye.
You don't just pour concrete and set steel. You build the structures that shape our skylines. Every cut made, every hole drilled, every anchor fastened is built to last. Because when the work is done, it's more than just a job. It's cities constructed with strength and skill by pros like you.
There's only one Ozempic.
Hello, I'm Ozempic.
And I'm other GLP-1s, kind of like him. Ozempic, you redid your jingle?
Thanks for noticing. Catchy, right?
No.
Okay, then. Well, ask your doctor about which FDA-approved uses of me, the Ozempic pen, may be right for you. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and learn more about Ozempic semaglutide injection, 2 milligrams. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic.
There's only one Ozempic.
I told you it was catchy.